La la. A long time ago in the land of Brushwood lived some adorable creatures. These buddies were on an adventure to save the day. Their journey would traverse many lands, they would need to craft many items and defeat some hideous foes, but nothing would compare to the evil lurking in the magical forest. For deep in the Mage's Tower, a horrid creature had been summoned, the malicious Skull, who roamed the land spreading his evil. Summoned, in error, it would seem, by the three-eyed magician, the Chicken Wizard. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. The Chicken Wizard, who fumbled about with forces he didn't understand and created a monstrosity, and now he wants the buddies, and you, I might add, to help him. Unbelievable. Hello peeps and welcome to the basics of Brushwood Buddies. From the solo developer of Orcish Inn, Steven Colling has given us something of a gem with this title. Brushwood Buddies is an unusual but cute, fun and challenging crafting and resource management puzzle game. The goal of each stage is to craft the object item displayed in the bouncing bubble. You can click on the object item to view its recipe. Some items in the recipe may not have been discovered yet, but if they have, you can select the recipe's ingredients to show how the object item's components are crafted. For example, here the object item is a knife. It shows you need a stick and sharpened flint to craft the knife. You can click on a discovered component to view how it's crafted. We can see that sharpened flint requires grindstone and flint, both of which come from rock. Areas are the lands in which we can locate the ingredients needed for recipes. Forests spawn trees, rocky areas spawn rocks, and grasslands spawn, yep, you guessed it, grasses. There are many different areas that spawn many different items as you progress through the game. However, each area can only hold one item at a time. Selecting an area will display possible destroying outcomes below the Destroy button, meaning if I was to select the tree and click Destroy, it would cause another tree to spawn in its place. But many areas have the chance to spawn different items. For example, this graveyard has a 50-50 chance of spawning a gravestone or a shrub. When you do destroy an item, or the resource has been consumed during crafting, the area will be cleared to make room for a new item to spawn. Clicking on the area will also select the item it holds. The item will display possible crafting outcomes below the crafting button. Here we have a tree. When selected, we can see a tree may craft an apple or a stick. Which item it will drop is a 50-50 chance. There are multiple ways to get an item. Sticks, for example, aren't gathered from trees only, but can also be made from long sticks discovered in Brushwood. You can also guarantee a stick from a tree by using a knife on the tree. In addition, other items such as meat, for example, are not only from rabbits, but other animals too. Now that we understand areas and how to harvest their many materials, we are ready for crafting recipes. Returning to our knife, the recipe required a stick and sharpened flint to craft. To craft the sharpened flint recipe, select its components grindstone and flint. Below the crafting button will display the outcome of those two items, in this case sharpened flint. We now have everything we need to craft our knife. Select the components and click Craft. It is worth knowing that when you craft an item, it will appear in the last selected area during the crafting process, meaning we can manipulate which areas new items like trees will spawn and where crafted items will appear. So with our knife, if we select the sharpened flint then the stick and hit Craft, the knife will appear on the stick location, and a new rock will spawn where the sharpened flint was. If we select the stick, then the sharpened flint, the knife will appear on the location of the sharpened flint and a new tree will spawn in place of the stick. Knowing this and utilising this feature becomes key when playing this game. There are 149 unique items to discover in Brushwood Buddies and multiple ways to craft them, so there is a handy recipe book to help you. Although it will only display one method of crafting an item, it is very much worth experimenting with alternative recipes. Sometimes, ingredients for crafting items are not always available, so the recipe book isn't always a way to learn how to make an item. Sometimes you have to follow the clues available at the top of the screen. Here, the object item is a raft. To make a raft, we need rope. Our recipe book tells us in order to make rope, we need to craft from grass. But there are no grasslands here for us to gather grass. We have trees, rocks and shrubs. However, if we look at the clues displayed at the top of the screen, it shows fur, followed by a trader symbol. So it's a fair bet that we can trade fur for rope. Companions are the adorable creatures that help you craft your recipes. You don't control your companions directly, they move on their own. However, you must pay close attention to their moods. The Turnip Lady, when she is happy, lets you craft recipes with up to 2 ingredients, like sharpened flint, for example. However, destroying items makes her sad, and when her heart is empty, she will no longer craft the 2-tier recipes. But fear not, you can make her happy again. The Turnip Lady loves apples. Each time you discover one, she gains a quarter of her heart. Cooking the apples will give her an additional quarter of a heart. While she hates destroying items, Woody, on the other hand, becomes happy from items being destroyed. And we need Woody to be happy because he allows us to craft single items like grindstone from rocks or rope from grass. As you progress, new companions join the team, allowing you to make more complex recipes. You will need to find out what makes them happy and what makes them sad, and balance all their moods simultaneously while attempting to craft the object item to pass the stage. But here's a hint. If you are going to destroy items, try to destroy multiple items at once. This way, the Turnip Lady will only lose a quarter of her heart for multiple items destroyed, rather than a quarter heart for each individual item destroyed. And that's the basics. And when I say the basics, don't be fooled into thinking it's easy. I would have you know this game gets bloody hard. I mean, stages spawn differently each time. Recipes become more complex. New companions have new requirements for their happiness. Space to place all the required items becomes increasingly tricky. More and more is required to pass the stages until you're pulling out your hair, screaming obscenities at your monitor, rage quitting and crying like a little girl on the stairs at some rubbish party. Or, if you're anything like me, you might lay awake at night thinking, is the chicken wizard some dude who is a wizard with just a ton of chickens? Or is he a chicken who is a wizard?